feeling is heavy after running? It is because your body needs more oxygen to breathe. And you get oxygen from the air around you. Without oxygen, you'd be like a car without a fuel. So buckle up and take a deep breath, and I'll take you to our body's respiratory system. What is respiratory system? Respiratory system is the network of organs and tissues that helps us to breathe. This system helps our body absorb oxygen from the air so our organs can work. Respiratory systems contains a lot of parts beside our lungs, and these parts falls into two physiological zones. The upper part that funnels the air in is known as the conducting zone, and it starts with our nose. Our nose is supported by bone and cartilage and bristless hairs and mucus inside it that helps filter out the dust and other particles. It also performs an important function, which is to warm and moisten incoming air so it doesn't dry those sensitive lung cells that must remain wet. Now imagine choking on a sip of water. You've noticed that you breathe in the same tube that you've also moved foods and liquid through. The stuff that we've swallowed encountered the epiglottis, a little trap door of tissue which covers the larynx and direct a bite of food and a sip of water towards our esophagus to keep it out of our lungs. You may be wondering why our esophagus, which heads to our stomach, is nice and flexible, while on the other hand, our trachea or windpipe is rigid and has prominent rings. It is because our trachea is built like a vacuum hose, since the lungs create negative pressure with every breath. The trachea needs those rings to keep open. If it were soft and fluffy, it would be collapse every time the pressure dropped and we wouldn't be able to breathe. From there, the trachea splits into forming the right and left bronchi. Now, we are in the lung tissue and have entered what we call the respiratory zone. The respiratory zone is where the actual gas exchange occurs. The smaller branches that we found in our upside-down tree is called bronchioles, which taper down into progressively narrower tubes until they empty into alveolar ducts and then dead end into alveolar sacs, where the bulk of gas exchange finally occurs. This is where each sacs contain a cluster of alveoli, the tiny capillaries lined up with super thin, wet membranes made up of epithelium tissue. It is here that oxygen molecules dissolve into wet mucus, diffuse across the epithelial cells, and then cross the single layer of endothelial cells lining the capillaries to enter the bloodstream. It is also where the carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood and then follows the same route back up to the nose and the mouth where it's exhaled. Take note that our alveoli is where the diffusion meets bulk flow, because whenever we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, one molecule at a time, we're doing it in a huge quantities at any given second. Today, we have learned about respiratory system. I hope that you have fun learning with me. Until next time!